Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to The Right Time, a Wave Sports and Entertainment original presented by Prize Picks. My name is Bomani Jones. Thanks for listening wherever you get your podcast. Thanks for watching us on YouTube. Be sure to check out the Right Time YouTube channel. Lots of YouTube exclusive content there for you. Subscribe, like, rate us, review us, give us 5 stars. You only give us 4 stars. I'm inclined to believe you are a hater. It is Joel from Missouri City Friday. Joel Anderson, what's going on?
What's up, man? Thanks for having me on. Y'all don't know that Bo welcomed me on like a hater for real. You know, he knows that I'm frazzled. I'm out of practice. I had to dig my mic out of the box and everything. You know, I'm unemployed. There's not a lot going. You know, I'm just kind of out of the mix. And so for you to come on and do a D's nuts joke, you know, right out the box, it wasn't really right. You know, you know,
if okay. I'm being honest, they really what's there to take away from your focus? You should be alert at all times. You never know when a job might sneak up on you. You need to be paying attention.
So for fellas who have group chats, when somebody says, "Look, you see both of them," you know what I'm saying? Some show you like it might be going in a whole nother direction. I'm like, what am I missing? What am I looking at? And then he come with that. So he took advantage of me, and that's fine. I'm just saying. I'm just saying, right time listeners, your boy is on notice. You know what I'm saying? I got something for him. Don't worry.
I spy a victim mentality. Man, that's all I'm hearing right now is a victim mentality. All this woe is me.
I just expected more from my friends, but that's okay.
Okay, I hear you. By the way, congratulations. Joel just became a father of 2. You know what I'm saying?
That's right. Thank you very much, man. Yeah, can't wait till Uncle Bo comes out here and babysits for us or something, you know. We could use some extra
I'm
hands.
Trying to come. It's too hot up there, bro. It's 100 degrees up there.
I know, not anymore. Today is the first day. I think we right into, you know, the Bay Area fall, which is going to be beautiful the rest of the year. I think our little hot season's over.
I'm going to raise my cup up to you and have everybody else join me and hoping that baby look like her mama.
Well, well, first of all, yes, she does look like her mom. And I thank you very much, man. You know, my wife is very beautiful. My daughter's very beautiful. My son is very handsome, and he happens to look like me a little bit. So, you know, it all worked out.
My belief is that if you don't hope that your kids look like your woman, that you made a bad decision.
You made a mistake. Very rare. You know what? I was about to say somebody famous whose daughter looked more like the father. And I
don't do that. No,
I caught myself.
Don't do that.
I caught myself. But yeah, that's usually not the mix you want. You usually want your daughter to look like your wife, and I'm very happy with how it looks. In fact, they put their pictures up side by side. I'm like, okay, boom, we in there.
So we talk about the 100 degrees run that y'all have had up there in the Bay. We are recording this on Wednesday, so we don't know what exactly the storm is going to do in Florida. This climate change thing, realist penitentiary still. And, you know, at some point, this is a real college football thing, concern for us to have about what some of these places are going to be, when they're going to be. So much of this game is tied to the calendar. Like, maybe this is the way that we needed to get people's attention with it.
Well, I think even before this, right? But like, if you go back to I just remember looking at high school and college games were being played in late August and early September across the South. And I'm like, the heat in these games is totally different than what we were dealing with a generation ago. And so already you see that there were some concessions made in terms of timing and not having practices in the afternoon. But this is a whole other kettle of fish. And in Florida, I worked and covered high school sports in Florida for a couple years. You always have to make concessions to the storms. Like, that's just the thing. Like, that's just going to happen. But this, I don't like. What is USF going to do, bro? You know, what is those schools on the coast? You know, the high schools there. I just don't know. How do you ever come back from this? Like, those, first of all, from the facilities to everything else. This is a part of climate change, that just another little nook and cranny that we're going to have to figure out here.
I mean, that storm looked like the Wembanyama of storms, like Shaq. Like there'd never been nobody that big and that quick.
I mean, bro. I mean, first of all, have you ever just heard the 4? Like, usually it's like, okay, it's coming in at a 5, but you know they think by landfall it's going to be 2, 3. It's going to trip up against something on the way through the Gulf. This seems to be about as close to a direct 5 hit as we're ever going to get in these states, man. And I mean, bro. So we've talked about this kind of offline. Like, would you live in the Gulf Coast now? Would you ever move down there? Yeah.
No, I haven't been back to Miami. So like Joe and I are both from Houston. I am
Mhm.
not sure the last time I have been in Houston. Joe likes it a little bit more than I do, but
A
honestly,
little bit.
Joe, you got more family that's still there. But
I
like when I think about when it is conducive for me to travel, it's months that I'm not going to Houston.
Yeah.
I'm
Right.
not going to Houston in July and August. It's hot as hell down there. Like
Mm.
that doesn't sound relaxing or fun in any sort of way whatsoever. I lived in Miami for 4 years. I would not like I had this apartment when I first moved to Miami that I love more than anything maybe I'd ever loved in this world. I have looked in that building and thought about buying something. I loved it so much. But nah, man, it's a sitting duck.
Yeah.
It's
I
a
mean,
sitting duck.
my broke ass, I don't have Bomani money, but I always thought one day maybe I'll retire in St. Pete Beach, or I love South Beach. Like that's very, cliche, but I was like, maybe I can find a small 1 bedroom condo down there. But like what would be the point? I don't think that doesn't sound like a particularly relaxing retirement either, having to evacuate a couple times a year. You know what I mean?
And you can't and I don't think you can get insurance no more.
Yeah, that's right. That's the other piece of it. Like that's you're people in Houston are having difficulty insuring their homes in certain parts of town,
Yo,
right?
I don't think we're talking about that nearly
Yeah.
enough. They
Yeah.
won't get the people that are in
Mhm.
the business of
Mhm.
making money off of insurance are basically telling you at some point your shit's going to get wiped out.
Yeah, right. I mean, they're just saying this is untenable, and we just don't want to cover that scale of losses. And like again, I mean, I wonder when the market is going to sort of catch up with this, right? Because I feel like I look at the listeners in Houston because I did and maybe still do hold, a dream of moving back home someday. But I'm like, why would I buy a home there? Like in 15 years, will anybody be willing to buy what I paid for it? I just don't think so.
That's crazy, man. Like, I
Yeah.
don't know if you've ever seen the old George Carlin routine about, back when we called it global warming, right? He talked
Okay.
about all this stuff about Earth Day and the environment and save the planet and the planet. And he made a point. It's a great one. He's like, the planet, you're worried about the planet. The planet is going to be fine. We're the ones that are going to get fucked.
Oh man. I mean, really. I mean, the world is going to keep turning, bro. It's just I mean, and it's funny because this is a very first world question because think of all the little islands that are getting mowed along the way, like places on the Yucatan Peninsula, or
Right,
like all those little islands in the Caribbean that get hit by this over and over again. I mean, we're already seeing climate refugees in the world right now.
right.
And so it's scary to think that if you live in New Orleans, man, like there's no future. It doesn't seem like there's a real good future in that right now. I don't. And where are those people going to go? And I just feel like we're already sort of in a really tenuous place politically, but when people have to move and reallocate resources and they're going to have to share wherever they live, like we're going to see a lot more problems going forward. So it's just scary, man, because I mean, I don't know about you. My family's from there. My mother's side is from, right down beneath I-10 in Louisiana. Like that's where we're originally from. And that's a real special part of the country to me, man. Like that folks, that culture, that's what I came up with. I love it. I want my kids to experience it, but I just don't think, a generation or two from now that it's going to be feasible for them to be down there and enjoy it that way.
Well, and Florida, like, Florida is when the running back has to pick up the edge rusher one on one in isolation. It can hold it up for a little bit, but it's gonna get knocked down,
Right.
right? Maybe it picks itself up after the fact, but it's not stopping anything, right?
No.
Like you're not you can slow TJ Watt down, but TJ Watt gonna keep coming. That's what Florida is, except it's not even TJ Watt this time, it's LT.
Man, I mean, the thing is, like, yeah, but usually you want somebody like the chip, and then you get a little help. You know what I'm saying? In the
Yes.
pass pro, but yeah, Florida's kind of out there on their own, and I think the thing is that if I mean, it's going to be tough to get through no matter what. But if you don't have faith that the people in charge of government, not only that they don't take it serious on the front end in terms of preparations, building infrastructure, taking climate change seriously, but then they got to like manage a disaster like that. Again, you're putting your life in your own hands. You kind of on your own if you go to Florida in these circumstances. Like if you think you're going to get the kind of help or whatever that people got a couple generations ago, I just don't think that's going to be true. And it's just going to we're going to see. I mean, I hate to say it like this because that place is really special to me, but we're going to see a lot of misery, and they're going to be looking to people to help them, and they're going to be looking toward people that fundamentally don't necessarily believe that the government has a duty to help people in a real way, a real and
Well,
lasting way.
and on top of that, like the American concept of what to do when you retire is going to have to change. Like Florida has all those old people because that is where you go if you're in a cold place. There are all these benefits to being in the warmer weather and everything else. People forever, the snowbird phenomenon, all of those things, but people forever have been going to Florida. That's not really a wise play anymore. Like I was talking to somebody not too long ago, mid 50s, talking about, trying to retire in their early 60s or whatever. And they're like, yo, every idea that I ever had about where it is and I'm supposed to go to retire, the climate seems to have completely thrown that stuff off.
Well, Arizona was sort of like the other option for some people, right? Because it's good for allergies,
Right.
all that sort of stuff. And like, would you trust that? And also, like the water issues that we're going to have because of climate change, drought. Like, there's going to be fights in this country over like who has the rights to this water
Right.
access and everything else. So, like, you can't even necessarily get away from it in that way, trying to go, zig when other people zagging.
Bro, Arizona's so hot, bro.
Oh no, I don't want
Like maybe they say you got to get you a spot like in a valley or something like that. Like
to.
you're supposed to get set up in the right spot, and it ain't that hot. I'll never forget. I had a girlfriend in college, and she went and did a convention of some sorts in Arizona, and she was from New Orleans, so she knew heat, right? Like
Okay,
she
yeah.
knew, but they talk about that dry heat, and I just never forget. She got on the phone with me, and she is like, "Let me tell you about this dry heat." She was like, this dry heat is like sitting under a hair dryer.
Yo, bro, I was in Dallas maybe about 7 years ago. This is the only reason I remember this because I was writing a feature on Kyler Murray for the place we used to work at, our former employer. And if for whatever reason, the highs were ranging from like 105 to 110. Like, this is not heat index, this is the temperature. And it's not, as humid as it is in Houston. But I was like, bro, you go out into a parking lot, you felt like you were cooking. Like you could feel you could feel the sun cooking you. And I was like, I don't want that, bro. I don't. I've lived in California for a decade now, man. I don't want to deal with that no more. I don't like that
But you
heat,
are
man.
dealing with that because it's been 100 degrees every day.
Right. Well, it was like that for a few days, and you can expect that. It used to be in the 90s. Now it's in close to the hundreds, and you get that for like a couple weeks a year, and it's tough.
Joel, it's October.
Yeah, but I look. That's what we get. When y'all are suffering in the rest of the country in June and July, it's 75 degrees out here. So we get our little. We have to do our week or two of struggle, and then it's over. It's not
But you
like it
do it in
rests.
October every year. It's the October part that's got me like
It
thrown off.
that stinks. I mean, it does stink, and it sucks because most people out here don't have central air and heating. You know what I'm saying? So you got to make do with window units. I got a little thing that my wife doesn't want on camera, but it's right here trying to keep me cool. But yeah, I mean, so that makes it difficult, like when you have that kind of stuff. But it's only for a couple of weeks. I don't want to. I don't want all my movements in the summer to be determined by man can't go outside. It's hot out there. Also, then when it's not hot in Houston, it's like, oh, okay, well the mosquitoes are out, bro. I don't know if I want to sit on that patio because the mosquitoes are out there. Like I don't, I don't like that life, dog. I'm done with that.
Well, we were talking about this initially just a little bit like in the context of college football, but it's worth noting, especially as they go have that playoff keep growing and growing because they're greedy. You can only do that with home games. You can only do that playing it through December, which is, by the way, cruel and unusual punishment to the actual players. But it's going to be, people don't think about this with college football. One of the beauties of the bowl system is you get the best weather you could ask for. You get the healthiest teams, all of these things. They put these games in these nice places. Y'all talking about playing games. Look, they don't have, they got an outside stadium for the college football in Minnesota. They got an inside stadium for the pro football in Minnesota. You know why? Because they don't play in December in college. That's why.
Right. Yeah. I mean the thing is it will be sort of cool if you like remove the humanity out of it to watch, you know, Ole Miss go up and play in a place like that, right? And
Right.
see how they deal with the cold. But yeah, like I don't first of all, I don't think that kind of football is cool. I don't like what about you? Like I don't want weather to affect the football game. I want to see the
I
teams at
think
their
we
best.
need to stop like these concepts that people have of what is and isn't football weather is through a northeast centric paradigm, but
Yes.
football is a southern game at this
Yes.
point.
Yes.
So stop trying to tell me that there's something charming about playing in the snow when all the players come from the South.
Right. Well, the thing is funny though, is that like it's not really fair because those teams come down in August and September, and it's like, okay, well, we know they're gonna cook to death down here. And
Yes.
then they put them on the sideline that's like directly in
Well,
sunlight
that's
and stuff like that.
Miami.
Yeah.
That's the whole Miami thing. They built that stadium and they wound up figuring that part out. And they were like, no, we take this sideline
Yeah.
every game. Y'all got that one.
Yeah. And I was just like, so, it is, turnabout is fair play to some degree, but yeah, I don't want to see a slop game. I want to see people that are fast, run, not have to worry about slipping. I want to see pass, and I want to see all that stuff. I don't want weather to affect the game between two good teams.
Hey, man, let me tell you something college football got this year that we ain't had in a while. And I don't even know how to say buddy name, but we got a must-see running back.
Ashton Jeanty, right? Is that his
Jeanty,
name? Like Jeanty?
Yeah, buddy at Boise State.
Yeah. Oh, he's bad.
Dude, I was trying to talk to Mina about this the other day where I'm just like, look, watching somebody stand around and throw the ball ain't never going to be as much fun as watching a dope running back. And she tried to like get in there, but down break, man, get the hell out of here. I ain't trying to hear none of that. Watching this dude just be a one-man unstoppable wrecking crew. I saw something where he's averaging something like 9 yards a carry against 8-man boxes.
Yeah, man. Crazy. Look, you know where he's from, right?
No.
I would only bring it up if he's from Texas, you know what I'm saying? But
yes,
but he's from just north of Dallas, Frisco. How did he get out of Texas?
So let's go get a look at his rivals page.
I'm like, let's see. He was,
because I don't want to cast aspersions on the young man, but my assumption normally when something happens, he was a 2-star recruit, bro.
Well, it says 4-star per 24/7, 3-star per ESPN. I'm looking at his Boise bio.
Rivals got him as a 2-star.
Oh man. Well, okay. I guess if you're going down that low, I mean, Boise is not a bad look then if you get a 2-star then.
He's like 5'10", 195, right? At least coming out of high school. So he wasn't okay. See, I don't understand worried about how tall your running back is. That's crazy tall to me.
I mean, bro. I mean, Barry Sanders was 5'8". Enough said. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. I don't. A college running back though, like, we have no concern about how tall you are as a college anything by and large. Are you fast? We're just trying to get as many of these. I'm on the Chip Kelly program. How many of these little fast dudes can we get?
Oh hell! I mean, it's like some of them never heard of Troy and Darren Davis. Them boys weren't. They weren't even fast, and they were short, and they were still very good. So. Yeah, I don't know why people focus on that, but I guess, if you're looking at athlete and a lot of recruiting, especially if there's camps and stuff, it's like looking at a dude being like, oh yeah, that guy looks like he's going to develop. He's going to be something. And maybe you look at a 5'9" running back and be like, well, I don't know. His upside ain't great, but.
Well, no, we need to check his high school film because I just can't see that he just suddenly turned into a completely different guy because he is. It's not, we're not simply talking about somebody being good. It's really fun. Like, it's his old school fun to watch running back.
Absolutely. Yeah, like just seeing him in the field, moving on people, changing direction, turning the guy around in the open field. Like, I remember when you were talking about that with me, and I was like, yo, y'all don't really sit around watching Reggie Bush and Adrian Peterson highlight film. Like, I just do that from time to time. How about y'all? Like, I went and watched when Najee Harris was here in the Bay. I went and watched him play because there's nothing like seeing a dominant running back play a bunch against an overmatched defense. Like, nothing looks like it. Nothing looks like that.
Dude, can you imagine what it was like looking at Derrick Henry in high school? Because he was about this size in high school.
Bro. Look, so I was in Florida during Derrick Henry's senior year, and so he played at the U.S. Army All-American game. So there were like 6 running backs. He was maybe the 3rd or 4th rated. And there was a live question at that time. They were like, hey man, you might want to play linebacker. Like, it was an open question. If he went to Alabama, they were going to try to move him to linebacker. And it was just like, what else do I have to do as a running back to prove to you that this is what I do?
But hold on. He won the Heisman, and we still did the same thing. Somehow at every turn, that big, giant, fast man, we all said, I don't know, though. I don't understand how we all did this.
Is it because who is the closest analog to him size-wise? Brandon Jacobs?
I guess so. Like Craig, well, no, because Craig Hayward wasn't that tall. So I guess we go Brandon Jacobs.
I guess people are just afraid a guy like him can't get low through the hole. He's exposing himself to a lot of hits, and you question his speed and ability to move through the hole, right? But he proved he could do that in the SEC. Like, that year that they won the national championship, he was the offense. Like, it wasn't
Right.
like this wasn't the Devontae Smith, Jerry Jeudy squads. This was like, hey man, you're gonna have to stack up tonight, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think that was Jacob Coker was the quarterback.
I think that was the Jake Coker years. Those are the Jake Coker years. And it's just like everybody knew what was coming and they couldn't do nothing about it. Usually that guy gets the benefit of the doubt, but it's weird. His size and strength actually worked against him for whatever reason.
Right. Like we're just all somehow we just can't believe that being bigger and faster than everybody. You can't just that's what it was. You just can't keep being bigger and faster than everybody, right?
Look,
Yes.
none other than Tre'Davious White was at that All-American game, and they played against Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry averaged like 5 yards to carry in that game. And, in an All-Star game, it's very hard for the offense to do anything because they got it. The defense has all the advantages, but Derrick Henry still got loose. And I remember I talked to Tre'Davious after the game. Tre'Davious was from Shreveport, and I was like, "Well, what did you think of him?" He's like, "Man, I ain't never seen nobody that big, bro, come at me like that." And I was like, I mean, Tre'Davious is going to LSU. You know what I'm saying? Like, this dude was real deal. And I'm just like, it feels like if I'm picking running backs, I would pick that guy and hope it would work out rather than the, shiftier guy.
And he's still doing it.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Oh, you know what it is, though? It's he's not a receiving threat out of the backfield. And I'm like, so?
We got receivers for that. I got what tight end. That's what my tight end for. You catch the ball. Were you like this? And people who remember me from this time are going to laugh, but I didn't think Reggie Bush was going to be a good NFL running back.
I was not sold.
Yeah, I remember saying I wanted the Texans to tank again so they could get AP because I was like, next year AP will come out, and if you're gonna get a running back in the first round, get that dude. But Reggie, I'm like, you don't really tend to outrun dudes in the NFL. Like that's just not something that you're going to be able to do all the time. Like you need to have that speed, but are you going to pull away from dudes? Not really.
The comp I had for him at the time was Rocket Ishmael.
Oh,
and
wow.
None of those, I couldn't really think of any of those hybrid guys that really became that dude. Right, Eric Metcalf. Eric Metcalf became a very good NFL receiver, but Eric Metcalf was not what he was when he was in college in the league. Like that was the thing. I went back and just tried to think of all the guys that had a similar profile to Bush. And I was like, nah, I don't. And I also felt like even watching Reggie Bush in college, it was clear that he had picked up a bunch of terrible habits that come from you being the most exciting, electrifying college whatever maybe that we had seen.
I mean, well, your favorite team benefited from him, kind of Josh Allen losing his mind in the middle of a game. You know what I'm saying?
He threw that Heisman Trophy right there on the ground, and Vince picked that thing up. And went ahead and took it to the crib. By the way, Reggie Bush in that game had like 85 yards rushing and 80 yards receiving, and he didn't really play that well.
He was still terrifying. I do remember in that game, I was like, oh no, this dude is still terrifying. Can you believe I was rooting for UT in that game? Did you know that? I was actually rooting for the Horns in that game, man. Your squad. Yeah, what?
Interesting.
Southside pride above anything else.
Vince James Madison High School took over.
Vince, I could not deny Vince. And shit, when they went to the Final Four, TJ Ford, I'm like, okay, Mo City. I gotta put it to the side. I gotta go with them boys. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, that's why they lost, because you jumped on the bandwagon.
Well, I mean, it didn't hurt me. So it didn't hurt me that they lost. So, but I wanted them to win.
Yeah, but no, it's it's great to have a good running back around here. I don't really know what to make of any of these quarterbacks. Like, Cam Ward is the only one. Like, Shedeur seems to be good. I don't have the sophisticated eye to pick up on the things he does. Cam Ward, I don't think you have to be that sophisticated at all on that one.
Yeah, I mean, he seems to have it all. It's just, I think the concern with him is that every now and again, he's going to make a bad decision, right? But
yes,
I heard somebody, I don't know if it was Bud Elliott or somebody that said, look, I mean, would you rather have a check down Charlie? You know what I'm saying? A guy that, he's not going to make no mistakes.
Right.
But he ain't going to make no plays either. With Cam, you know what I'm saying? You're going to get a little something else. And also, shout out Cam Ward for another H-Town homeboy. Right. You know what I'm saying? From Columbia, Texas,
That's not about, he from like Brazoria or somewhere out there, though.
I played against his high school all 3 years, that little Columbia school. They never, you can look them up on Wikipedia. I don't think they've ever had a player that went anywhere to do anything. I'm not trying to disrespect Columbia or whatever, but they did.
Yes, you are.
Well, I mean, I never lost to them, but
Who says this?
I know.
Who says this about West Columbia, Texas?
West Columbia Roughnecks, they ain't got nothing on me, dog. You know what I'm saying? Neither does Channelview, neither does Crosby. You know, we handle them all. But yeah, Cam, you know, I do like him. I guess I'm just a little, I don't know. I'm not so in love with this class of quarterbacks that I feel like you would have to use a first round pick this year, though. I feel like if that's what you're into this year, I feel like maybe, I don't know, maybe you can get somebody in free agency or something like that. Or, I don't know. Nobody's gonna kick the tires on Justin Fields anymore.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of over. But Shedeur, I like him as a college quarterback, but what do you see that he does that makes him special?
That's what I'm saying. I don't know if I have the sophisticated eye, right? I don't know what he's reading. I don't know what he's seeing. I don't know what he's, like it's those things that the film meters I have to tell you, because he doesn't have like jump off the screen athleticism. He seems to have a good arm, but I don't feel like I'm looking at a great arm.
Right. Yeah. Like he's a very good college quarterback, a very serviceable athlete. But do you think Deion said that he ain't fast? Like, how long do you think it took Deion till he accepted? He was like, "Hey, man."
Or I think Deion wants to get him a pro style passer in there, like he understands what that game is. They don't even like he's fast enough that they could use it that they could deploy him in the run game a little bit more, like in a collegiate style, and they don't do that, which I think is intentionally to showcase him as an NFL quarterback as best as they can. But no, this is very similar to Archie Manning having a couple of slow ass kids.
Yeah, right. Well, I mean, apparently Cooper was the athlete. Cooper was the receiver.
Oh, Cooper.
No, I think it's pronounced Cooper. I'm serious. I'm not making that up. Oh, you know what?
He got a show called Soup with Coop. Like I feel like it's Cooper.
Okay, I'm apologize. You know what happened here? This is a Shreveport thing. You know, in Shreveport, there's Cupper Road. It's called the MLK area. And I just had a little Louisiana slip. It's like you talking about your boy Jordan Jefferson. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. Okay, gotcha.
That's you.
Gotcha.
Anyway, I got my Coopers mixed
up.
No,
Cooper was fast, and clearly his boy is fast.
Man, you're right. You know,
hey, you and I were both Arch Manning skeptics, and I got to fall back. I see the vision.
Who would you rather have for the stretch run right now, then? Since that's your favorite team.
I don't understand why you insist upon doing this. I don't root for them.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so who would you rather? For if you just hypothetically, so let's say.
I'd probably still go with Ewers at this point. Like, I don't think Arch has been like so good that he couldn't take the job back from him, at least from what I've seen. Like, we're gonna see what happens in this Oklahoma game. This one's gonna be something. But nah, I wouldn't do that.
Man, and Ewers is supposed to be another one of those kids that's, first round something. And again, I'm probably gonna have to eat this because I've just said I don't see it. Like, look, I didn't see it for Patrick Mahomes when he was in college. Okay, so you take my opinions on this with a grain of salt. But I look at Quinn, and again, I'm just kind of like, he okay. But I don't look at that guy and be like, oh, you can ride. Like, if Trevor Lawrence could go to the NFL and be mid, then I don't understand this anymore, right? So
damn,
that's what.
I didn't realize that SMU scored 66 points against TCU. Damn, y'all are sorry. Coming up next, we'll talk more college football with Joel Anderson. The NFL is back, which means you can turn $10 into $1,000 in a single game watching your favorite teams only on Prize Picks. You can make a Prize Picks lineup in as little as 60 seconds. Sign up today and get $50 instantly when you play 5. You don't even need to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. Quick withdrawals, easy gameplay, and an enormous selection of players and stat types are what make Prize Picks the #1 fantasy sports app. But rather than hearing it from me, let's talk to somebody who uses Prize Picks. Sean, how the picks been going for you?
Bo, I'm excited the NFL is back because Prize Picks invented the flex play, which means you can still cash out if your lineup isn't perfect. You can double your money even if one of your picks doesn't hit. Prize Picks also offers weekly promotions and discounts on select player projections up to 25% to provide even more value for your lineups. And as always, make sure you stick around for the end of the show to hear my NFL picks for the week.
There we go. So make sure you go to prizepicks.com/Bomani and use code Bomani for a first deposit match up to $100. That's prizepicks.com/Bomani. Prize Picks, daily fantasy sports made easy. This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. Sean, although October is the season for wearing masks and costumes, some of us feel like we wear a mask at work, social settings, or even around our family. Have you ever felt like you couldn't be your full self, like you were hiding behind a mask?
Bo, for me, I try to be myself in all settings and with everyone I encounter, but, it's certainly easy to get caught up in portraying yourself in a specific way or putting on a mask, whether it's, to impress someone at work or make a good first impression. But I feel like it's always best to show the real you first.
That's right. And therapy can help you accept all parts of yourself so you can take off the mask. If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Celebrate the progress you've already made. Visit BetterHelp.com/Bomani today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/Bomani. Joe, we have been talking about like realignment stuff, and
y'all see how he got defensive when I talked about his favorite team, but we can keep it moving.
I didn't get defensive. I had nothing else to say because you keep trying to force it.
TCU is sorry this year. They're right. But again, do we want to get into this? Because I've been talking about Sonny Dykes the whole damn time. Since before they hired him, I said what the deal was with this, right? And now everybody, I'm looking at all the comments on the fan sites and on the internet. Oh, we got to get rid of him. I'm like, how did you all fall for 2022? Anyway, okay, we can move on now. That's over. I got
Y'all still sorry. Anyway, there's a lot of realignment that's going on. And, like unintended consequences and things that people don't really do the math on. Have you seen this thing where, and I know this doesn't seem like the biggest deal to people, but I found this to be fascinating, where James Franklin, who are they going to play? Oregon or UCLA? Penn State flying west to play.
I think they're going to Oregon. I think they're going to Oregon.
To play one of them big pack teams. That's what I'm gonna start calling them.
right. The big pack.
The big pack teams. And so there is an airport in State College, but they're gonna have to take a bus an hour to go to Harrisburg and then catch the flight out west because the airport in State College does not have long enough runways to accommodate flights that long. Which, by the way, don't judge State College too bad on that. LaGuardia. That's the reason why you got to take the long flights out of JFK, is because LaGuardia doesn't have long enough runways for those flights. But that's the sort of thing that nobody thinks about when they decide that they're going to turn the Big Pac into a conference.
Yeah, man. I mean, and also I think we've kind of seen some, and I don't have that stat at the tip of my tongue, but it was something like the teams in those new leagues that had to travel like, so long, and they went on the other coast. Like all those teams lost last week. Like that is a hard trip for professionals. Like we talk about that for professionals being difficult. Imagine being a college student when football is not the only thing you're doing. It's mostly the thing you're doing, but it's not the only thing you're doing. You're young, you're not a professional, and having to Miami had to play a game last week that was like 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock that time, man. Like
that game was over at about 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, man. I was up late enough to watch it, put it that way, to catch the end of it. Like that's not fair to Miami, But I mean, if this is what it's going to be, if it's going to become like professional football, then that's just, first of all, we're going to have to get used to more random results like we saw last week, I think, right? Because, there's going to be the travel factor and also just, all the other NIL, the depth is not going to be the same. We don't know who a lot of these teams are early in the year. But yeah, man, if Penn State, it's not just that they're going to Oregon, they're going to have to fly to Portland probably. I assume, does Eugene have an airport?
I'm sure it has an airport, but again, does it have an airport with runways to accommodate some of these longer flights?
Yeah. So let's say that they can't fly to Eugene, then they got to fly into Portland and drive I think it's like an hour and a half, 2 hours south. That's a lot of travel, bro. So if Penn State comes out of there and loses, like, yeah, maybe Oregon got them that day, but like it doesn't mean that like Penn State wouldn't compromise before they even got to the stadium.
Right. And vice versa for when they got to come back around. Because if that's what it takes for Penn State to get to the places, then it's going to take the same thing for them to get to Penn State. They're going to have to land in Harrisburg the same way.
Yeah, absolutely. A Cal, I'm just trying to think of a Cal or Stanford, Florida State game. Like, do people know how hard it is to get to Tallahassee? Like, Tallahassee is like one of the hardest places to get to in this country, man.
It is not close to any airport worth discussing.
It's not close to any airport. You probably got to fly into Tampa because Tampa's 4 hours away.
Well, do they have a like with the Tallahassee runways hitting off?
I don't. I
But like a lot of
Yeah.
this is not. This game is built to be regional, man.
Yeah. Right. Right. Well, I mean, that's over, right? Like that's not going to come back. Don't you think? I mean,
No. Well, it may come back by force, right? Like this model may collapse because it's unsustainable, and then everything goes back, and it'd be like everything else where they do the old thing and think that nobody had ever done it before, right? Like maybe that's what it is. But like these are, and I don't mean to overblow the idea of the flights, but these are just the little things that I don't think people are just so busy thinking about how to keep these conferences in survival mode that then it's like, okay, well, how do we make this happen? Like the idea that Berkeley is in the ACC is just crazy.
It's
just
insane.
on its face, it's just insane.
It doesn't make any sense, man. And I don't like. I mean, maybe this has changed and kids are different. I can't imagine the kind of kid that signs to play at Cal or Stanford dreams of growing up and playing in Wake Forest. Like if you're out here on the West Coast, you want to play USC, you want to play UCLA, you want to play Oregon, you want to play Washington. You don't. I mean, they have nothing in common with Pitt or Virginia Tech. Why would they want it? Those are just games at that point, right? Like you're just serving some other, but you're not. It's not like interesting. How can fans get excited to see? No offense to y'all, Duke football
Right.
come out here? You know what I mean? Who's gonna show for that?
What about this? What if a big part of why you went to Stanford is because it is Stanford, and you would like to learn a few things, but you got to go through all you got to go through to like 6-hour flights and those short turnarounds? I guess they young, but yo, imagine a fly on Thursday, fly back late Saturday night to get back in on Sunday, and I'm supposed to go to class on Monday.
Bro, I don't like making that flight from anywhere. You know what I mean? Like if you're in California, you're a long way from everywhere else. I don't want to make that flight, and I ain't got to do nothing when I show up. I ain't got to, go through practice or walk through anything like that. So hell yeah, man. I definitely don't think that's going to be sustainable. Like I think we both think that the ACC in its current iteration is not going to hold up. Like this is just not going to work in that way.
Well, nothing's going to hold up except for the SEC and the Big Ten.
Right.
Like what is there? Why would the Big 12 survive? The ACC has more of a rationale for survival than the current Big 12 does.
Let's see. I'm trying to think if there's anybody that they need to have. No, it won't. It probably won't survive in this iteration, but I find it hard to believe that Arizona State, and Utah won't be part of whatever comes next. Just even because of the footprint, and also
yes, but I guess they'll be part of something. I guess what I'm saying is, though, the conference as it currently exists, that is the Big 12, will not exist for very long. No. The ACC as a conference is still so fascinating because I think they have some high value assets in terms of not just in terms of like schools and how they perform, but also like, look, you got two schools that matter in the state of Florida. Florida's what, the fourth largest state in terms of population. You still got two of those. North Carolina, for example, is still a big state that has a lot of people. You've got that. Virginia is a state that has a decent number of people. They've still got what I think at least to be good real estate.
Yeah, I think any of those leagues would want North Carolina, right? Like if they could come pluck it away, like North Carolina is the jewel there, yes. Right? And then maybe Virginia. I don't know how they would sort that out.
The Virginia schools feel like they're not that attractive. You want Duke because it's part of the matching set with North Carolina. Honestly, like if I were called at the SEC, I'd want Wake Forest is the one that would need to worry. I'd want all the other three. Like they are a nice little package that you can put together in whatever conference it is that you got. But as the ACC, the fact that they had to, I forgot, SMU was in the ACC.
I know.
Don't you worry. They going to be standing at the end because they rich people have decided they going to be standing at the end. I mean, they are basically like, it's just a little money.
Again, I have to, there's a mea culpa, man. I didn't think this was going to work. I just thought, y'all about to be Duke Jr. Like, this is not going to work out for y'all. And like, oh no, you really see rich people with some money that are determined to make something happen. They can actually make it happen. This kind of goes back to your point for a long time about want to. Like, want to counts for so much. And right now, SMU wants to, I mean, outside of Texas and A&M, who wants it more than SMU?
Nobody wants it more than SMU. No, SMU wants it. SMU clearly wants it more than Texas has ever wanted it.
Damn. Damn.
Joel, they got caught running a slush fund and didn't stop.
Well, they were just like, we still got a payroll to beat. After they got caught, they were like, hey, well, let's sunset some of these payments first.
What a wild thing. But just everything that they were willing to do. Texas, at just about every turn, has demonstrated that they didn't want it that bad.
Well, that's changed now, right?
They wanted more than they used to. Here's what I think happened to them. And I thought, as much as people thought they were going to go to the SEC and not compete because of what they've been basically for the previous 15 years, I knew that wasn't going to happen because they weren't getting embarrassed in the Big 12.
Right.
They were going to get embarrassed coming in this new conference looking like they had been looking. And they decided that was not going to happen. And it has not happened either.
I mean, the thing is, too, though, and I just, so once you get past Alabama, Georgia, maybe LSU, it really wouldn't be that hard for Texas to go ahead and be their 9-3 self regardless. Anyway, even if they just operated the way that they did, they could still go 9-3. They're better than Mississippi State. They're better.
But they hadn't been going 9-3 is the problem.
Right. I guess they've been a little bit worse than that. So but that's because they've had bad coaches, right?
Yes.
And TCU was tapping their ass, and they just it kind of destabilized the program, so they had to kind of figure out some other ways.
Losing to TCU as consistently as they did is incredibly embarrassing. A team full of guys like Joel Anderson who went to TCU because they never got no offer from no place like Texas, consistently coming down there and beating them like they did. Guys with feet like linemen, except they was running backs. At least that's how they was told by Hall of Famers. Yes, it was embarrassing for Texas to lose to rosters like those over and over and over again.
Rosters got significantly better. And I could have played safety, Bo. I don't want to do that. I didn't want to play safety.
I understand you, but they couldn't come do that in the SEC. It just wasn't it, and they stepped up a lot around their program as a result. And shout out to Sark for getting better at his job, because nothing about his previous steps gave you any reason to think it would be what it is thus far.
But man, if you look back at old coaches, bro, look at coaches that actually had some tenure, like Bill Snyder or Steve Spurrier, whoever, that when they got started in their career, it takes years to kind of ramp up. And a lot of coaches would have gotten fired back in the day. If they were under the same paradigm as today, if people were as impatient as they were today, correct, they wouldn't have made it. And so maybe it could just be that Sark, he had a couple years at Washington, and
he had a job for 5-6 years.
Oh, okay. Well, damn.
Yeah, no. He got a fair run there, and then the USC thing,
right?
Happened as it happened.
Washington is also, again, it's not. It doesn't. Washington can be good, but it is not always good. It is you have to have a good coach there. Some things have got to fall for you for it to be a really great program. At Texas, you kind of got to be a subpar coach for things to not go right, I think, and I think that they've made bad hires over the years, and that's been more responsible than anything else. Good coaches are not as much of a supply as people think that they are.
Texas has hired maybe one good coach since Daryl Roy.
Yeah, we only talked about Mac Brown.
The maybe is the one they got.
Yeah, they didn't like him neither for a long time. And
you talking about Mac or Sark?
Well, I'm talking about Mac.
Yeah, Mac lost to OU 5 years in a row.
Right. Those were the best OU teams, though, of recent vintage. So I give. Bob Stoops.
They gave up 60 points in those games twice. Mac,
Mac was good at North Carolina before then, and he's really good at running a program. But in terms of the X's and O's and everything else, that's what people think that he struggled. He didn't get the most out of his players. But I still think until proven otherwise, Mac is the best Texas coach of my lifetime. But
probably, Sark is bearing down on him. Mac may have coached. 2005 is one of the 10, 15 best college football teams of all time. That's what he'll be able to hold his hat to. So take him, way to go recruiting Vince Young.
He got Chris Sims too. When Chris Sims was the number one quarterback in the country,
Chris Sims.
That was something. Chris Sims was an NFL quarterback. You may have not liked him very much.
Why are you talking for me? I don't need you to do that.
Well, I'm just saying. Just wanted to put it on there. I'm trying to let people know where how far your support goes back, and all that kind of.
I don't understand why you so bad at coming up jokes that you got to keep trying this one. I can't do
It's not
that
a
no
joke.
more. My dignity will not allow me to
You look
continue
hurt.
rolling with them as long as they sing that damn song.
I mean, they were doing it the whole time you were rolling with them. So I mean,
Well,
what happened?
Hey, look. I made my decision to move on. You found out that your former coach was out here calling people the N-word, and you still be out here purpling it up at every turn. Ain't that something?
I mean, an institution is bigger than one man,
Ain't
and
that something?
I'm like, not to defend him, but the context there,
the dream killer, the dream killer, the dream killer. He's the man that killed your dream, right?
Well, he led me to another career.
He's the one that told you to go pro in something else, right?
He said you're gonna go pro in something else, and look, it worked out. I mean, look, my knees and joints are fine. I don't have any head injuries.
I know what it was. You didn't know what Spade meant at that time. You thought he was talking about cards.
See, man, I'm not putting these. Coach Pete, I'm not putting that on you, Doug. You know what I'm saying? Bo's up here trying to get jokes off on you. I wouldn't do that. He didn't say that, man. Come on, why I got to be like that? Why I got to be like that?
Yeah, Joel. Why does it have to be like that?
And also, again, what I would say about that is that what's the if every coach that had said the N-word got called out on it, we wouldn't have very many coaches left.
Gotta say, brother.
College football.
Gotta say, brother, you sound like you're making excuses. You're a half step away from needing a rabies shot.
If I had to step away from again, it's gonna be very tough to like a certain kind of white man in this country if I'm going to hold that against them. You know what I mean? Like,
you're foaming
depending on how I work at,
you're foaming at the mouth. You're foaming at the mouth.
I'm just realistic about what
okay.
I'm realistic about where we live in this country. You know what I'm saying?
Joe. This all just went in all kinds of directions. The people didn't need to go because you keep insisting upon whatever.
I'm not defending him. He was a great coach.
I'll talk about. Okay, we only wound up here because you keep trying to make me into something that I'm not. That's all I'm saying.
Well, I mean, you're trying to be cool about it and pretend, just like you do with the Falcons.
I don't see. That's the thing. The difference between me and y'all is I stand 10 toes on what I say. I don't root for them no more. I admitted with the Braves, I had quit them for a while, but that'll always be in me. I got done with all the rest of these. I'm cool.
Well, look, TCU. When I went to TCU, Gary Patterson was not there. It was Pat Sullivan, who was a good man, a Heisman Trophy winner. And an institution is more than one person. And again, like Coach Pete did his thing. He said some stuff, but the context is important here. But again, he shouldn't have happened. If he killed my dream, so what? You know what I'm saying? It all worked out. It all worked out. I'm where I'm supposed to be. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Don't you think? Or actually, I should say I'm unemployed right now. So
hey, man, you weren't gonna still be playing football at this point, regardless.
That's true. And I did have feet like a lineman. As I came to see, the evaluation was correct. Did I tell you about what happened in that time? By the way, like I remember, Coach P is looking at me. He says this, and I look down the line, and LaDainian Tomlinson is pissed at me because I think I made everybody have to run again. Like he's just like. He said something along the lines of, "Man, get your shit together." And I'm just looking at him and Coach Peace, and I'm just like, "Bro, I don't have this no more. I'm not doing it."
He used to be the fastest 10-year-old in America. Then he didn't get no faster. Joel Anderson.
I was still pretty fast. Oh, before I got something to say that I'm a little hurt by the way. Can I say this? I heard you tell the homie Dragonfly Jones, Tyler, that your mama said that's her favorite guest. Yeah. That kind of hurt me. That kind of hurt me, dog.
What are you talking about?
I kind of pride myself as a person that people mamas like. You know what I'm saying? I was a little disappointed that Miss Jones, Dr. Jones, didn't have it for me.
I'm sorry. Did you just say you were disappointed in my mother?
I said that I was disappointed that I didn't meet her standard for favor.
Okay. There we go. I understand where you're coming from. And in the words of an all-time great, get your shit together.
Man, look, if it was good enough for Clarence Thomas' mama, you think it'd be good enough for yours,
You thought that was the way to make the point?
I'm just saying. I mean, his mama, If I had to go much further to make inroads there than I would with your mama. Is what I'm saying. When I come into Clarence Thomas' mama's house, I'm kind of, there's a lot of reasons to be suspicious of me. You don't know who I am. I told you I'm a reporter. Presumably that had happened before in their life, many, many times before. But when I'm from Houston, I'm very respectful. I don't curse that much. You know what I'm saying? Like that had never happened to me except for one other time when somebody's mama. All I'm saying is that most people's mamas really, really like me, and I was a little disappointed. And I think Tyler's a very good dude. He's very cool. I can understand how it would have happened, but I'm just a little disappointed. That's all. You know what I'm saying? I thought Houston was better than that. Maybe not. Because you're not from Houston, so that's probably.
I thought the South Side. Actually, I never thought the South Side was better than that. I knew you'd always come up as a disappointment.
You see, your friends invite you on. They do a D's nuts joke, denigrate my athletic career.
Why did I denigrate your athletic career?
And then did this. You know what I'm saying?
I did not denigrate your athletic career. I pointed out that I remember its peak, 1988.
Yeah, that's if I in all fairness, I was good in 95, 96. It wasn't the best, but I was okay then. But yeah, that was about the peak. But hey,
number 12 was out there making it happen.
Yeah, don't talk about number 12 because I know what you're doing.
I'm not doing nothing.
All right.
Thank you, Joel. I appreciate you.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on, folks.
All right, man. Sean, you got prize picks for the people.
I sure do. Sunday, big football slate. Let's go Jamar Chase, more than 75.5 receiving yards. Kyler Murray, more than 32.5 rush yards. Derrick Henry will score a touchdown, and Brian Thomas Jr. on the Jags will have more than 0.5 rush or reception yards. And unlike Joel, Bo, I do respect your mother,
Hey, look, Sean, I was just going to say something nice about you, man, because I was like, your BetterHelp reads are amazing. Like, there was one, y'all used to run one, and it was like, you'd be like, yo, Sean, have you gone through that too? And he's like, yeah, man, sometimes I have difficulty thinking about other people in a profession and how it's going and all that. And I caught that. I'm like, oh, they're getting really deep on this segment. And then it was an ad read. And I was going to be like, Sean, you really convinced me, bro, that you needed BetterHelp.
I appreciate that, Joel.
But
you're taking it back now.
I'm taking it back. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, how Nori took his dap back. And Jada Kiss tells the story of Nori taking his dap back. I'm taking it back. So, yeah.
Bo's just ready to end this show.
Ladies and gentlemen, thanks so much for joining us here on The Right Time. We do this here 3 times a week. Sean, you handles everything behind the scenes. Joel Anderson makes my blood pressure fluctuate. Call the voicemail line 323-596-7767. Tell me about the Al Bundy type in your life. One of them 4 touchdowns in one game from high school types. Let me know about the ones in your life. Also, be sure to check out our YouTube channel with lots of YouTube exclusives, including our new concert reviews. That's what it is up there. Go have one from Stevie Wonder at Madison Square Garden before too long. So check us out there. Subscribe, like, rate us, review us, give us 5 stars. You only give us 4 stars. I'm inclined to believe you are a hater. We'll talk to you guys in a couple of days. Take it easy.